that Visitors Day is April 11th, and we're going to hear some inspiring words maybe about that. And I also want to remind each of you to register. Register, register, register. It really helps our coordinator. It really helps servants team. Don't wait till the last minute. You know who I'm talking to. Some of you just wait till the very last minute, and it really does make it hard on servants team because we're already planning for the next year. Okay, y'all, so please get registered, especially those with children, or you might not get to be here because it fills up. All right. I am so thrilled to welcome one of our beloved class members, Marlene Bell, who is going to come share a testimony and a little bit about what CBS has meant to her.
Okay, I'm hoping these cards are even in order right now. Okay, get my reading glasses ready. Okay, shaking a little bit here. Oh boy. Preparing for this kind of gave me all the feels. When I had the opportunity to share about what CBS had done in my life, I jumped at the chance because it's been so huge for me. I didn't hesitate to volunteer. I rededicated my life to Jesus when I was 15, and I became a Jesus girl. I was sold out for Jesus. I was one of those girls in high school wearing the Jesus Lives t-shirts. And this was in California. Don't stone me. But we already covered that a few weeks ago. But and I experienced the Jesus Revolution. I was part of that movement there. And I was baptized in Corona del Mar. And just God did an amazing work in my life. And I wish I could tell you more of my history, but God really transformed me. And so I was attending a church and met my husband there, and we got married at 19 and 20 years old, and then went to college while I was married, became a psychiatric technician, was working full-time, and had kids, had Larissa, daughter number 1, and Marina, daughter number 2, Melissa, daughter number 3. When Larissa was 5, God called me to homeschool, and I really felt called to be home. And so God helped us get in the position where I could be home financially, and took a lot of maneuvering and everything. It didn't happen overnight. But so I ended up my first year homeschooling, working part-time on the weekends. And so I had the week to homeschool Larissa, and so I really wanted to find a Bible study that took older kids, and found CBS, and the one I found was like 30 miles away, or 30 minutes away rather, or 30 to 40 minutes away. But I just loved it. And it's funny because I was trying to remember, it's so fuzzy because this was 30 years ago, or more, 33 years ago. And I was trying to remember, how did I find it? Who invited me? And I called my friends that I went to CBS with, because I'm still friends with them today. And they said that I invited them, so I really don't remember how I got there. So, but I got there, and it was like the eye of the hurricane for me. Any of you moms of littles? I had a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 5-year-old. And I remember just being able to hand over the baby and walk the kids to their classes and just go, because I trusted that they were in good hands. They had a great program, and it was so freeing to be able to sit in a group and to hear the teachings. And our teaching director, Margaret Huckabee, was like a mentor to me. And like a fun fact, Julie and I were in leadership together in Orange County, California, Julie Seguida. And Margaret was like a mother to Julie. And so it was so impactful, everything that I learned. I mean, I just took notes. And it was so important time of life. I'm behind in my notes. Sorry, guys. CBS was on Thursdays, so I schooled Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Tuesdays was my time with my mom, and then I worked weekends, was my schedule for the first year. And then, I'll go into that. I'm getting ahead of myself. So one day I was preparing for science co-op. You know, us homeschoolers, we love our co-ops. And I got a phone call that my mom had collapsed. And so in my mind, I'm thinking that she fell. She had health issues and she walked with a walker, and so I thought she fell. So I'm thinking broken hip. So I'm going to pile the kids in the car, head to the hospital, and then I called my friend Fran, who was also a CBS sister, and told her I'm not going to make it to co-op, and she said, let me pick up your kids. And praise God that happened, because I went to the hospital, and I went in and I just said, I need to see my mom, and her name's Margaret Taylor, I need to see her. And they said, you need to come in, sit in this room. And I was like, I just want to see my mom. And they're like, no, you cannot. You need to talk to the doctor first. And I don't really understand what the procedures are, so I just went and sat in the room. And then the doctor came in and he proceeded to tell me that my mom was brain dead. And that was not what I was prepared to hear. And so that spun into a lot of things. My husband coming, my sister coming from Texas, us having to proceed to have my mom disconnected because it was not her wish to be kept alive on a machine. And days, this all took days though. And then she passed, and that was not as easy as one would think. It was very rough. It was excruciating. And then was the work. I mean, if you've ever had a family member die, there's the banking and all the stuff you got to do, prepare for a funeral, decisions to make. And so during this time, I'm just putting one foot in front of the other. And thankfully, my CBS sisters were praying, and I could feel it because I didn't feel strong and I didn't feel weak, but I felt carried. I felt carried. And I just felt like God had me on this like pillow and helping me through this whole process. So we had the graveside funeral planned, and my husband had this great idea to have the after part where you have a meal with the family at our house. So, and normally I'm really a good party planner. I'm good at it. But I wasn't really up for this. And so I was like, I can't, and there had been a lot of time, and I wasn't attending to my home. I was, everything was a wreck, to be perfectly honest. So my husband assured me, though, that my CBS sisters were going to be coming while we were at the funeral, and they were going to clean our house, including the leadership. They were coming to clean my house, and they were setting up tables, and they were bringing the food, and I was just like, whoa, that's big. And later, after it all happened, I thought, whoa, they cleaned my toilet. And it's so humbling. And I thought about it after, and I think in analogies so much, and I don't know if anyone else does, but I'm always like thinking, I'm just words. And I thought about it if you've ever been to a ladies' retreat, and if they say, surprise, we're having a foot washing. And it's like, oh, isn't that beautiful? And also, I haven't had a pedicure in like forever. So that's like really humbling. So it was like, later looking back on that, it was like, wow, this is really beautiful, but it's also really humbling to have someone clean your house and do all that. And when I got there, I didn't even know who had been there because it was all done and it was all beautiful. And they just left. And I didn't even know who to thank. So it was just so huge. It was monumental. And just during that time, I was just like putting one foot in front of the other. And we have a saying with Larissa, it's doing the next right thing. And I was just, doing the next right thing during that time. And it was definitely a takeaway for me was that if we're in Christian community, that God has our back. And when we go through really hard things, that he's there with us and he's going to take care of all those details that I know sometimes I'll go in my mind like, what if this happens? What if that happens? And I'm already trying to like work out the details. If this happens, I'll do this. But no, God's already got it. He's already there. And it's such a peace that we can have as believers because there's nothing that we can go through that God's not with us and for us. And so that was my CBS sisters experience. But there were so many more. Ended up being in leadership and just being so blessed by that CBS Orange in Orange County, California. And then fast forward, we moved here to College Station and from Washington, Paulsbo, Washington. And I kind of came kicking and screaming. Now, I love Texas now. But I kind of came against my will, and I was struggling, like emotionally struggling. And I mean, like on the, like hanging on by a thread. And I mean, I've heard the saying, like, if you're hanging on to the thread of hem of his garment. I was hanging on. So, but I went to Google CBS near me, and I found CBS College Station. And I was like, oh, okay. Because one thing I know about CBS is they're all the same. They have this structure. They have the groups. They have the worship. And I knew I could count on it. And I needed community. I did not have one friend here. And I was just like, oh, if I can just dress myself, if I could just maybe even brush my teeth and get in that door, I know what to expect because I know CBS. And CBS College Station did not disappoint. You guys were so amazing. You had no idea who was walking in your door, but I was broken and so hurting. And I just felt your warmth, your invitation, your hugs, your welcome, and it was just so amazing for me. I just appreciated it so much. And my first group, my girls in my first group, man, I was just unloading because I was so, I hate to use the word triggered, but I mean, I was so emotionally broken. And my first group, Melissa's one of them, was so sweet to me. And lots of you guys were so sweet to me. And I was just a big wreck. And you guys have, this whole class has been so great to me. And then also to my daughter, Larissa, and then to my grandkids that are in the homeschool program. And so CBS is affecting generations. And it's unbelievable. And I definitely want to give glory to God because CBS does this because of Jesus. And it's all about Jesus. And CBS has just blessed me so much. So when Bev asked me if anybody in our group wanted to share, I'm like, pick me, because I love CBS. And so I think that's about it. I love me some CBS sisters.